Okay, we're doing this. We're talking about this again. All right. I'm just going to start from the beginning of the story. I found out I was pregnant, I want to say about a month ago, and it was a really big surprise to both me and Leo. I woke up one morning and I knew that something was different about me because you just know, you have the woman's instinct. And I found out I was pregnant and I shared the news with Leo. It's definitely not something that we planned, but we definitely planned to have a baby in the next 2 years or so. So we figured, what difference is it if we have the baby now? This baby is the love between me and Leo, and no matter what, we're in this stage in our lives where we are open and ready to love our child, and we are ready to take care of this baby. I think it took about a week for us to really adjust to the idea that we're going to be parents and our lives have changed forever. My life drastically changed. My body changed completely. I became nauseous to everything, and I couldn't even be around people in the public without feeling sick. It was like there was just too much stimulation. So most of my time I was sleeping, and I had no idea prior to being pregnant why I would get so tired easily. But after I found out, I was like, okay, this makes sense. My appetite was really weird. My taste buds changed completely. I loved eating hot Cheetos, and all of a sudden I don't even want anything spicy in my life. I only want sweets in my life. I only like chocolates, which is so weird because I am not a sweets person. I love savory foods. And because we have always wanted to have our baby in Hong Kong, and so that it can have dual citizenship, our minds immediately fast forward to that, and we're preparing ourselves to move to Hong Kong in February, because I would have been due in May, and I would just wait until I was ready to give birth there. I think it really took us even just a week to adjust to the idea that we're going to be parents and our life is going to change drastically. I was even wondering what I was going to do with all the furniture in this apartment, if I was going to keep renting this apartment, and so forth. So our mindset was ready. We were ready to be parents, and we were really happy because we love each other so much, and we've always wanted to have our own children and have our own family, and we knew that we would be really great parents. In my heart, I was ready to be a mom, even though it was truly unexpected, but it brought us so much happiness and joy. And then 2 weeks into knowing that I was pregnant, there was one Saturday night, I guess I was just doing things as normal. I was laying in bed, and then all of a sudden, a gush of blood came out, and I had to sit on the toilet. And that was really scary and stressful. It was 10 p.m. on a Saturday night, and I looked to Leo and I said, we need to go to the emergency room right now because this is absolutely not normal. And at the time, the drive to the hospital was so scary because I was getting cramps, and I just was so scared that I was losing my baby. I was really, really scared for that. And I remember driving there to WeHo. We were passing by these clubs that we used to go to, and looking outside the window and passing by all these clubs, I turned to Leo and said, babe, our life have really changed drastically. I've been staying in so much lately because I've been so tired, and the thought of alcohol just makes me sick. I can't even think about drinking a shot and be a part of the lifestyle that I used to live. Anyway, I get to the hospital. They were really, really quick and helpful. I didn't wait too long, and they put me submitted me into a room. And man, we were there from 11:30 p.m. till 5 a.m. They ran a bunch of tests on me. The nurse had trouble finding my nerves around my wrist area. The bruises are all gone now because it's been a month now, but it really hurt, and she couldn't find my spot. She did both arms, and eventually she had to do it on my hand and find a nerve out of my hand and draw blood from there to do all the results. I think that was really, really nerve-wracking because all I wanted to know if whether or not I was still pregnant, if the baby was still alive. And we waited for a really long time, and finally at 4 a.m. I finally got wheeled to the room to do my ultrasound. Unfortunately, Leo couldn't be there with me for I don't know what reason, but he couldn't be there with me, and so I laid there by myself, and they did a really extensive ultrasound on the belly, and then they looked inside to see how everything looks in there. And it was really crazy because for the first time, it really hit me that I was a mother when I was laying in that bed, because I heard the heartbeat of my baby. It was like a really loud dun 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 dun. It was so crazy. And I just never thought, I don't think you really understand what it's like to be a mom until your body physically changes and your maternal instinct kicks in. And so I went back into the room. I was just so happy to know that there's a heartbeat and the baby is still alive despite all the blood loss. At the end of the night, the doctor came in and gave me my final results. And they said that I have a subchorionic hemorrhage. And basically what that means is that the baby isn't completely attached to the uterus lining of the wall, and that is how the baby gets nutrients from me. There is a gap, and the gap is what's causing the bleeding. And he suggested that I stay on pelvic rest, meaning just no strenuous movement, no exercises, and he even mentioned to not lift anything heavier than a plate. And he said to avoid bumpy car rides. So I think moving on from that point forward, I just became really stressed out. And that's why I posted that photo of me in the hospital. It was because of that night. I think my body was already really tired. I was not myself. My energy went down. My voice was not as loud. And I was just really stressed out from that because I did not want to lose my baby. And I wanted to do everything I can to make sure the baby passed the first 7 to 13 weeks, which is the first trimester. And once the baby is able to pass the first trimester, the chances of a miscarriage is a lot lower. It was what the doctor told me. So I think Leo and I really bonded during this time because he really stepped up and he took on the role as a father. And he cooked me every single meal, made sure that I didn't have to walk up and down the stairs too much. My best friend Cindy came over and brought over food for me because we haven't slept all night. It was just really, really great to see all the people that I love come in and make sure everything's okay. And so I just kind of, things kind of got normal again. And so I was living life normally, but my energy was still really low, so I wasn't able to make any videos. All I could do was sleep the entire day. I would eat a really big meal, lose weight after that, and then sleep. And that would be the cycle, which is so strange because I would eat so much and I would not see a pound on my body. Anyway, so one afternoon I was really hungry. And I went downstairs to make myself just microwave a bowl of food. I lifted the bowl of food and lifted a little bit of my head and microwaved it. And after that, I started feeling cramping again. And I saw a little bit of brown discharge coming out which made me just think that, okay, this is like old blood, so that's okay. But I still took it easy and I laid in bed. That following night, I was just laying in bed again, and all of a sudden, the largest amount of blood came, and it was, I don't know, in that moment, I knew, like the instinct in me knew that it was gone. It wasn't there anymore. There was too much blood loss. And it was really, really scary. At the time already, I've seen my OBGYN, and they said, and I was able to call on an emergency line to talk to the doctor. The doctor told me just to lay down and not do any strenuous activity, try to sleep, and go into the hospital 7:30 a.m. to have an ultrasound to see and make sure the baby is okay. That was probably the roughest night. My dad called me, and I didn't even think it would affect me so much because I didn't know I was pregnant for that, for very long at the time. But when my dad called, I just burst into tears because I don't know what it was, but I just knew that the baby was no longer alive in me. But for whatever reason, God gave me a lot of faith and peace, and I kept praying and praying because I couldn't sleep for the longest time, and I knew in order for me to give the baby the best chance, I needed to rest and not stress so much. So I prayed and asked God to give me peace and give me faith, and I really wanted to believe that if I prayed hard enough, that it would be okay, and I would go to the hospital the next morning and everything will be okay, and I can just not do much, lay in bed, and the baby will be fine. I had a lot of peace, but Leo, on the other hand, he said he didn't sleep all night. And we woke up 7 a.m. in the morning, and we drove to Wilshire, to the hospital, and we got our ultrasound. The doctor was really optimistic when we walked into the room. He said most of the time bleeding is not uncommon in the first trimester, especially when it's your first pregnancy. And so he did the ultrasound, and I had no expectations at that point when and obviously he gave me the bad news, and he said that unfortunately there's no more heartbeat, but the sac is still in there. And I had 3 options. The first option was to wait it out. The second was to do a DNC, which is a surgical operation to clear out everything and to make sure that there are no dead tissues in there anymore. And the third is to take miscarriage pills, and they last for about 24 hours. He mentioned there would be cramping, and I would need to be at home and have someone take care of me. I opted for the third route because I didn't really want to undergo surgery. And so, yeah, I don't know. I think everything just happened so quickly. After the doctor, I went to CVS, a local drugstore, to get some painkillers, to get like a heat water bottle pack so that it eases my cramps when I was ready to take the miscarriage pills. When I took the miscarriage pills, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever experienced so much pain in my life. And I think at the time, it was just still a lot going on that I didn't really process what really just happened to my body. And I wasn't really able to completely process the loss because I was just now thinking about my health. Like, okay, the baby's gone now. I need to make sure my body is okay. And the miscarriage pills was, when I was describing it to my mom, the pain, my legs were shaking, my back was hurting. There were like nothing that I could do to alleviate the pain and the cramps in my body. And when I was explaining to my mom the feeling that I went through, she said that's what childbirth essentially feels like. And it was hard for me to feel better at the time at all because it was just like, man, I lost my baby and now I have to go through this pain, physical pain of childbirth, but not have a reward at the end. And it was really horrible. It was really painful. I never thought that, like, you know, anything like that could happen. And at that moment, after all of this, you know, all of my tissues passed, after that, I really had the thought in my mind, like, wow, every single mother that ever had a child sacrificed so much, so freaking much for us. And it's amazing. And I was really put to the test. I think my first thoughts was to think that I made the mistake of microwaving my plate of food, and that's what caused all of this. But my doctor was really good at explaining that miscarriages are really common, and more often than not, a miscarriage happens because the baby has most likely some genetic issues that it was not able to pass the first trimester to a healthy pregnancy. And more often than not, it's honestly better for the baby to not go through if it's not healthy enough. So I understood that, and he mentioned that, you know, there's a lot of times women will want to blame themselves for the loss because there's nothing else to blame for the pain, but he said you can't do that because it's not your fault. And so I knew that, and my mom and my dad also told me that. So I had really good support system from the side of by my side, telling me to not take it like I did anything wrong. But I think I don't feel that way anymore, and I'm really happy that I've had my family every day, and they called me every day to make sure I was okay emotionally. But I have to admit, at the time, it was really hard not to believe that. So the reason why I'm making this video, one, is because I've always been really transparent with you guys, and this platform is my life journey. I want you guys to be with me along all of this. And I also want to be a testimony to those that have been through miscarriages, because they're so ridiculously common that women don't talk about them enough. And I just want to say, if you've ever been through a miscarriage, or if you're going through one, or if that ever happens to you, know that this is not something that is your fault, and you're not alone. And this happens so much more than you think. And I think women need to talk about it more, so that there is an open space for support in such a hard time. I think because we don't talk about so much, I never knew how hard a miscarriage really is, physically and emotionally, on yourself and your partner. So yeah, I think through all of this, I've really learned to value life. And I'm not to say that I didn't value life before and I didn't care about, you know, spending quality time with my family, but this is different because I was gifted a life and I was so happy, but I was also it was taken away so easily. Life is so precious and it's so fragile, and you have to do everything to protect your happiness and the loved ones around you, because there's only one. And I think even to this day, even a month later, the pain will always be here, because after all, it is me and my husband's child that we lost, and it is our first baby together that we have to mourn over, which really helped us get a lot closer, so close that we never thought we could ever get this close in the past. And despite of all of these, all of the hardships, I'm really, truly grateful, because it's taught me so much, and I'm able to grow from this hardship, and I'm able to really look at my family and my husband in a whole different light and live my life with so much more purpose, because I know for a fact that the baby who's watching now from heaven down onto me, he or she will not want me to be sad. He or she, my baby, will want me to keep doing what I do best, which is to create, just keep creating and spreading happiness and joy to you guys. I know it sounds a little bit contradictory that I'm crying and I'm talking about spreading happiness and joy, but I'm sitting here because I want you guys to know that even through dark times, even through hard times, you can choose to think negatively and allow yourself to go into the dark hole, because I found myself there so many times. I had nightmares about this, and sometimes I would just find myself before idly sitting there and all these negative thoughts and how this is so unfair, why is this happening to me? The list can go on, but I would catch myself and I tell myself, Karen, stop it, because this is not who you are. Who you are is a fighter, and you don't let the hardships of life to keep you in a dark place. I will and because of this, I find so much more value in myself and the people around me, and also so much more purpose in what I do. I've wanted to have a fashion brand. I've always wanted that. I've always wanted to have my own makeup, my own jewelry. Like, I have so many dreams and aspirations. And I think before all of this, I just kind of lived life floating and not really experiencing the moment. But because this happened, it made me so connected with my emotions and living in the present, and really understanding how important each moment it is to be present for, that I stopped keep looking forward, but I'm living here now and appreciating everything that surrounds me. I appreciate my family, my friends, my husband, you guys, and all the opportunities and the brand relationships I have. I truly appreciate them so much, because after I shared this the first time on my Instagram, as soon as it came out, I knew I had to share it, actually, because it was speaking it out loud made it real for me. And sharing it out loud with you guys poured so much love and support. You guys kept me going. There were so many times I laid in bed and I just want to disappear. I just felt so confused and I didn't know how to process my emotions. I would look at all your DMs and you guys wrote so many positive letters to me, and all the support that I never knew was there, right there in front of me, came rushing into my life. And I'm just so eternally grateful. I'm so lucky. And I think this even takes me back to realize like how blessed I am, because despite the loss that I have so much around me to support me so that I am not in a dark place. And I'm so thankful that, you know, my hospital bills came out to be so ridiculous, and I'm so thankful that I've chased my dream like years ago and it became reality, that now I live a type of life that I can pay for these hospital bills that would have really bit me in the butt and put me down the hole before. So there's just so many things that I can be grateful for after all of this, and I choose to be happy, and I don't want to put myself in that negative space. And so I guess today I'm sitting here and I'm telling you all of this. Hopefully this is a testimony that you can choose happiness. You just have to fight really hard against the negativity. It was really, really hard. And I think it's still okay. I tell myself this every day. It's okay to think about my baby and still feel really sad because the pain and the loss is real. What me and Leo, what we want to do is we're actually going to Hong Kong on the 15th, and then we're going to Japan a couple of weeks after that. We'll be traveling in Asia for a month, and we want to do a memorial for our baby, the first one that we ever had. Probably have a small memorial in Japan and in Hong Kong just to commemorate the life that we created and the experience, and to as a remembrance of how much we cared and we truly loved this child of ours. And you know what's really crazy too? I think everything happens for a reason, and I do believe in fate and how timing is always works if I don't try to control everything to my timetable. I just have to go with the flow and follow my heart. And I believe that, I was gifted this baby so that I can learn a lot and grow so much in this stage of my life. Because now, me and Leo know that we can be parents and we're so ready to be that. But we have still so much more that we have to accomplish before we can welcome our next child into the world. And I'm so grateful that we have the time to do that now. I have so much more intention and purpose in what I do. And time is not to be wasted. You have to grasp every moment and really have intention in what you do. You can't just float on and live life with no purpose. At least that's the lesson that I got out of it. And I'm really grateful that it's shifted my mindset and it really matured me to be the woman I am today. Yeah. I'm really glad I sat here. It was a really difficult thing for me to open up and talk about this. I've been putting it off for quite a while, but I'm really glad I did this. A lot of you guys on Instagram has been checking up on me and asking me how I've been doing physically and emotionally and mentally. I just want to thank you guys so freaking much. I honestly, I don't know how I can express to you from a screen, but if I can see you in person and give you a hug and tell you how much you truly mean to my life and how much you've helped me through this hardship, I would. Well, emotionally, I'm a lot healthier, I'm a lot happier, and I've been keeping myself busy so that I can just keep moving forward. Health-wise, I have a lot more energy now, but I think my body is still confused, and part of me as my old self is excited to continue life as I did before, but my body is telling me, you just had a miscarriage, you need to relax and take it slow so that your body isn't tired for another 2-3 months, because these periods of time is so important for me to recover, because having a miscarriage is equally as exhausting and taxing on your body as giving birth to a child. So that's what I'm working on. After I went to Paris Fashion Week last week. I came home and I had no idea I would be so exhausted. I slept for 3 days straight and I'm still really tired right now, but that's what I'm learning, to slow down with my life, because I always want to rush and do everything really fast. And yeah, this is where I am right now. I'm doing really good, you guys. And I don't want you guys to feel that you need to worry about me, because you guys, when you guys just show me your care and tell me you love me and tell me how you're thinking about me, that already makes me so happy. And I'm already at the stage where I'm ready to really continue on with the dreams that I have and accomplishing them. I have so many exciting things coming up. with Umo. Like, I know it was a pause this year because I left Ipsy this year and I was independent. Me and Leo had a lot to figure out on just running my own ecosystem and how to make videos, and without the huge team that I used to have with Ipsy. So it's been a lot, and that we decided that it'd be best for us to just have a pause on the clothing line until we're ready to take it on and hire on a team to really help us run the operations. But yeah, I don't want you guys to worry about me. I just wanted to update you guys and let you know that I'm doing really great now and I'm really happy and I'm ready. I even can sit here today and I'm ready to share this on the internet again with you guys. So yeah, I'm really happy and grateful, and I'm just really grateful for everything that I've learned throughout all of this. Um, so thank you so much for listening, and I love you guys so much. You guys mean so much to me. You guys encourage me and motivate me to keep working harder and keep creating. I'm gonna be my best self for myself and for you guys. And I will see you guys in my next couple videos. I have been filming and working, so I'm excited. All right, bye guys. I love you.